Welcome back to the show, everybody. Bitcoin's on a tear with a new all-time high. We'll get into that. We're also going to talk about Paul Tudor Jones, another billionaire, is preferring Bitcoin over gold, and he's got a hedge fund to prove it. Coinbase USDC HBAR will explain. How about Facebook launching their new digital wallet quietly as possible? And how about U.S. lawmakers and how they feel about that Facebook wallet? You're going to want to know about that. And we have a very, very important piece of news today. It's a letter from John Deaton to the judge. You need to understand the letter, what he says, and also who John Deaton is to all of us. He is our voice in this case. Make sure you sign up for the class action and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here. $2.560 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency today. We're up 1.91%. You think to yourself, hey, that's not a lot. Well, I'll tell you what, it is when you're looking at a $65,957 Bitcoin price, 5% plus on the 24-hour, and honestly, within the last few hours, and over 20% on the 7-day. Ethereum knocking on $4,000 doorstep right here at $3,997.26. It's up 16.13 on the 7-day and almost 5% on the 24-hour as well. We see Cardano at $2.16 and XRP at $1.13, creeping up the mountain this morning. Let's look at the range very quickly. But before we do, look here. This is how quickly it's moving here, because I had the all-time high pulled up for all of us. And let me see here. This is for Bitcoin, obviously, celebrating Bitcoin right now. And it is crushing at 65,638, it's saying right now. So let's take a look here. And I opened this up for all of us here so we could see this. All-time high, 65,641, and I saw it go higher than that, but it hasn't updated in the last 11 minutes. Maybe it does it every 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll see. But still, this is enormous. I think a lot of this is based on the ETF news that we've seen ETF futures approved, or a futures ETF product, exchange trade fund product, and we're going to see some more information on that in just a second. Right now, 112.66, bottom range of XRP price is 107.31, the upper range is 112.80. We will keep an eye on it. The market feels like it wants to move up today. It really does. And I think a lot of it is being led by Bitcoin and the ETF news. And to add to that, billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones prefers Bitcoin over gold as a hedge against inflation. How about that one? And you have to lean into the understanding of limited supply, right? You know, I know that gold has a limited supply. They can only get so much of it out of the ground every year, but there's even less of Bitcoin. So that hedge really plays nice in an inflation scenario. Looking here, we see DCG, Digital Currency Group, shout out to Barry Silbert, said it has authorized an additional $250 million in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust buys as Bitcoin. Curious investors suddenly have more options. And look, this is more competition, and competition is good. And I think you're going to see everyone wanting to increase their positions, which is going to bring even more scarcity of everybody buying it and locking it up, right? And right now, Bitcoin is the dominant token in this space until we see utility become the price driver for the real payment networks for the future. And I believe those to be certainly XRP, XLM, XDC, Cardano, and others. And none of what I say is financial advice, is my personal perspectives. Now, looking right here from Credible Crypto, Coinbase and Circle created USDC coin. They sure did. And just a little further background on that really quickly. Brian Brooks was the chief legal officer at Coinbase at that time and worked very closely with Jeremy Allaire from Circle. And they both agreed that it was one of the most important projects they had worked on their entire career. And they have incredible careers. Now, that has always lent me, or always brought me to a place where I've been willing to lean into the idea that the USD coin could become that public-private relationship for a retail-facing digital dollar, while the Fed continues to design a wholesale back-end CBDC. Just my personal opinion again. But nevertheless, it says here, today they announced that USDC had launched Hedera with USD Coin on their network. And that really adds to Algo, SOL, Tron, ETH, and XLM, all of which are listed on Coinbase. Credible Crypto says he suspects an H-bar listing on Coinbase might be on the horizon. Now, I tell you, I think that's pretty damn good insight right there, Credible Crypto. Now, let's get to this. Facebook's digital wallet finally launches without Diem cryptocurrency. Well, we all know what a pushback the governments around the world gave Libra, which is really the first coin inception of Facebook a couple years ago. We saw the leader of France, many people, Maxine Waters here in Congress in the U.S., and many other leaders around the world say, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. They originally wanted to back a digital currency that they had created at the time called Libra with a basket of actual money, fiat dollars, from around the world, much like the SDR basket is. And that's what gave so much pushback on that particular project. Since then, Diem has announced that it would just be a stable coin. So if they launched in the US, it would be a stable coin pegged to the US dollar. If they launch in the UK, it would be a pound pegged to, or it would be a stable coin pegged to the pound, and so on, particular areas of the world. But with that being said, it says Facebook launches its digital wallet, finally launches without Diem cryptocurrency. And as we understand it, when we look down into this, Novi, which is the digital wallet for Facebook and their whole new platform here for using crypto and stable coins here, says today in the U.S. and Guatemala, more than 2 years after it was first announced, the pilot program will let users send and receive money instantly, securely, and with no fees using Paxos stablecoin in partnership with Coinbase, which will be serving as the custody partner that holds the actual funds for the pilot. I think that's a very good idea right there. David Marcus, the head of the project here, says remittances are a critical way to achieve financial inclusion. Today, we're rolling out a small pilot of Novi digital wallet app in 2 countries, the U.S. and Guatemala. People can send and receive money instantly, securely, and with no fees. Now, he goes on to do the whole thread. I'm not going to get into that, but you see that this is a test, and you know that there are massive things coming. I think the last check, there's like 2.7 billion people using Facebook, if my memory serves me correctly. I want you to imagine just very quickly now that rolling out and being an option all over Facebook. Just imagine that and how quickly the world will be acclimated to be able to send money, whether it's stable coins or crypto, how quickly the world will be acclimated to that transition. It will be so fast, your head will spin. I give it about 6 months. Once they fully go live and launch that kind of, I guess, functionality in Facebook's app with a digital wallet, 6 month learning curve, and everybody will be using it and forget what the world was like beforehand. However, U.S. lawmakers say Facebook can't be trusted to manage cryptocurrency. And let's get into this really quickly. It's very short, but it's a huge pushback from U.S. lawmakers. So this pilot is not going unnoticed, and it may get a lot more pushback from Congress here. It says, according to Democratic Senators Brian Schatz, Sherrod Brown, Richard Blumenthal, Elizabeth Warren, and Tina Smith voiced their opposition to Facebook's 2-year-old effort to launch a cryptocurrency and digital wallet. Facebook is once again pursuing digital currency plans on an aggressive timeline, has already launched a pilot for payments infrastructure network, even though these plans are incompatible with the actual financial regulatory landscape, the senators wrote in a letter to Facebook chief executive Mark Zuckerberg. It says here, Facebook cannot be trusted to manage a payment system or digital currency when its existing ability to manage risk and keep customers safe has proven wholly insufficient, the senators wrote. And you can imagine why that would be. A Novi spokesman did say, we look forward to responding to the committee's letter. And that's basically what they said there. Now, what I want to get to here is a reminder for everybody who may not have heard, 533 million Facebook users' phone numbers and personal data were leaked online. I got to say, They make a pretty good argument up there on Capitol Hill about this whole business. And what I have to say to add to that is that doesn't mean that the conversation is over and that's it, said and done. They won't do it. What it means is that there needs to be further clarity and details on how exactly all that'll be done. Like, for one, Paxos, being the stablecoin offered, I think it's a fantastic idea. Separate entity, right? You get that from Paxos through the wallet. Novi Wallet, if it's completely separated from Mark Zuckerberg and everybody at Facebook, then maybe we have a chance, right? But if Mark's got anything to do with it, it worries me what will happen to that information. Now, this is shifting gears here just to touch on the case, and we're about to look at an incredibly, I believe, one of the most important letters ever sent to the judge in the SEC Ripple case, and it comes from John Deaton, and it represents each and every one of us. We have to remember, there are a couple things going on in this case. It is Ripple being sued by the SEC. It is John Deaton who has taken up the cause to represent and be our voice in representing the XRP retail investor. Ripple does not represent us, and that's not a bad thing. They're doing their job. They're representing Ripple and what they're doing with their customers. We are retail investors, and thank goodness for somebody like John Deaton, and we'll get to that letter in just a second. But this shows here, before we see that letter, the level of inconsistency, whether it was during Jay Clayton's tenure or whether it is currently today under the guise of Gary Gensler. You're going to see in this clip here that in 2019, Jay Clayton, in fact, signed an annual report from the Treasury acknowledging that, in fact, XRP and many other digital currencies were, in fact, digital currencies. Let's listen. So this all started with the SEC and Jay Clayton right before leaving office suing Ripple and its founders. Now let's take a look at this question.
But why is the SEC picking winners and losers? Yeah. Why is a government entity deciding this is a winning one, which, by the way, happens to have some pros and cons, massive power consumption, which isn't great for a climate agenda that Gary Gensler cares a lot about, but being silent about other things. And then, one of the challenges right now is Gary Gensler, who has been asked specifically about ETH, hasn't commented.
The ethereum.
But if it's so clear, if the laws are so clear and he's asked a specific question, then just answer the question because it's clear.
Well,
And what a great question for Gary Gensler that is. But going back to Jay Clayton's tenure, this is a report from the U.S. Treasury Department, not the SEC, back in 2019, for which they defined digital currencies and the addresses listed and all that they mention here. Among the digital currencies listed in this report, an annual report from 2019 from the U.S. Treasury, it is ETH, Litecoin, Neo, Dash, XRP, and other tokens listed by the prudential regulator, the U.S. Treasury. One has to wonder even more, and shout out to crypto_-ODL for this information, but you have to wonder even more, then why is Jay Clayton's signature on this document either? Because it acknowledges with Jay Clayton's signature, third one down here, that if he understands what the report was that he signed from the U.S. Treasury, then in fact he's acknowledged in 2019 that he believes and also agrees that XRP is a digital currency. Things that make you go, It really is things that make you go, And in fact, take a look at this. This is a great tweet by Digital Asset Investor here. I said, yes, sir, well said. If a congressman wants to be a hero of the people, he should publicly ask Gary Gensler if Ethereum is a security and then go ballistic when the chairman of the SEC won't answer a simple question while at the same time saying there is a lot of clarity. Retweet to Congress. That is what we need to have happen right now, ladies and gentlemen. And furthermore, maybe it's time for Ripple. I said here in this tweet, if I were Ripple, I would go on Fox Business with Charles Gasparino, Liz Clayman, and everyone else there, Eleanor Terry and Cheryl Casone, and announce that I'm considering an IPO in another country because the SEC of the United States doesn't want us here. They're only interested in ETH and Bitcoin-based projects in the U.S., apparently. retweet to Congress. It really is a sad state of affairs for this market agency, the SEC. It really, really is. But let's keep moving on here because we have more. And this, again, is why it's so very important to join this class action lawsuit. And John Deaton is our voice. It's not Ripple's job to represent us. And we should understand that. John Deaton has decided to do it out of his good graces. And he says here, go to his profile and sign up. We just crossed 50,000 signatures. Let's make it 100,000. You know, the best way to not be denied in this world is to be undeniable. And let's do exactly that. And retweet your congressman in your district as well. Here it is right here, just added to the Crypto Law US document library. It is the letter to Judge Torres requesting the court consider XRP holders in the latest request from the SEC to extend or delay expert discovery. This is the whole letter. I'm not going to read it all to you. What I am going to do is highlight Jeremy Hogan here because Jeremy Hogan grabs that paragraph out of here that we all need to know about. And the whole letter is remarkable, but this is the one that's pertinent to us. And he says, this paragraph in John Deaton's motion regarding the SEC's motion to extend discovery is exactly why his and XRP holders' involvement is so important. Go join that class action. There is no downside, ladies and gentlemen. Someone has to tell the court how the SEC lawsuit impacts 50,000 plus people and counting. He is a real American hero. It's John Deaton, ladies and gentlemen. And here is the paragraph here. In opposing the SEC's request for this delay, Ripple's argument focuses on how the freezing of XRP markets within the United States impacts Ripple. The negative impact on XRP holders is even more profound. As the court is aware, nearly every digital asset exchange in the United States has delisted or suspended trading of XRP. It says here, in addition to owning XRP on those exchanges, many XRP holders hold XRP in retirement brokerage accounts. The XRP in these retirement accounts have also been frozen due to the SEC enforcement action alleging XRP to be an unregistered security. The lack of liquidity within the United States, coupled with the mass delisting, prevents XRP holders from trading, selling, transferring, or converting their XRP. It is because of this de facto in-place seizure of their property and the XRP holders took the extraordinary step to seek intervention as defendants, effectively requesting that the court compel the SEC to take enforcement action against them. Any delay in the underlying action marks yet another day XRP holders do not have access to their funds. I wish to re-emphasize my hesitation in writing this letter out of fear that I may be stepping outside of my limited role, and I certainly do not wish to aggravate this honorable court in any manner. With that being said, as this case proceeds to the merits, I hope even if the court denies consideration of this request, the court will understand why I was compelled to submit this request. John Deaton. John Deaton is an American hero. There is no question. I believe, if nothing else, John Deaton has got himself into a position to represent so many of us that would otherwise not have a voice at all. I'm telling you once again, if you have not done it, please go join that class action lawsuit. You don't have to say how much XRP you hold. You don't have to give up any private keys. Nothing crazy like that. Your name, your address, your phone number to prove you're a real person. That information will remain private with John Deaton. It will not be shared without your consent. That's all for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below, share with somebody you know, and tag your local representative in Congress. Let's get this thing really at a level that cannot be denied. And make sure you check out all the links in the description and the comment section. They are trusted products and services I use each and every day. And more importantly, they are vetted links that you can count on when you trust and when you do click on them. So make sure you check it out and all the specials. I'll catch you on the next one.